distinguished guest with us to share her journey and insights with the FPER community. Our guest earned her primary medical degree from University of Manchester and later completed her Master of Medicine at Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia. She is a dedicated medical lecturer, physician, and clinical nephrologist at PERSIAP UKM with a special interest in glomerulonephritis and kidney transplantation. Her impactful research includes studies on work disability among advanced chronic kidney disease patients, revealing critical challenges in employment and quality of life. She has also contributed to publications on retinal changes and cardiac biomarkers in CKD. So currently, Dr. Lydia Kamaruzaman serves as a medical lecturer and nephrology specialist at Hospital Canselor Tuanku Muhriz UKM, where she combines clinical practice, research, and teaching. So let's give a warm welcome to our guest today, Dr. Lydia Kamaruzaman.
Oh, thank you very much for your very kind introduction.
Yes, so thank you so much for agreeing to join this interview with us. So I'm going to start off with a few questions just to get to know you more. And so for our first question is, we'd like to ask you, Dr. Lydia, what inspired you to pursue a career in medicine, and why did you choose to specialize in nephrology out of all the other choices?
Okay, why I choose medicine, yeah? You know that when you become a medical student, you went through all kind of like subject and history, right? And then I realized that the backbone of medicine is internal medicine. Yes. So no matter where you are, you have to go back to your basic history of internal medicine. So, and then with medicine, like, it's like you are solving a puzzle. You have queues from patients, then you have to think, you have to connect everything, and then you come out with diagnosis and management plan. So I think that it kind of like a complete thing, yeah. So that's how I become interested in internal medicine, and I decided to pursue, into internal medicine rather than surgery. Yeah. And if you ask me why nephrology, so I always love acid base, electrolyte, fluid balance. So which is the core component. It's basic physiology, and it's a core component of nephro. So when you have certain interest in certain subject, you tend to study more on it, and then you gradually do a subspecialty in that area.
Okay, so like, even though you knew that you were interested in like acid base and all, do you find yourself like your interest increasing or developing more during your training to become a nephrologist?
Okay, so like people have asked me this question before, what really pulled me into nephrology. So I think that when I was a medical officer, I met a very nice nephrologist, Dr. Lydia from hospital. At the time, I was a medical officer in Hospital. So he was a nephrologist there, and he was so nice and so dedicated, and it makes nephro so easy and interesting. So you develop your interest from there, and when you have a good mentor, you tend to follow that mentor. So I become interested in nephro. Then after that, it kind of like, this is something that I want to do. But in Malaysia, the pathway is you cannot decide you want to do nephrology straight away. You have to become an internal medicine specialist first. So I did my master's program, that 4 years master program, right? So during that master program, that you went through all kind of posting for nephrology, neurology, rheumatology, and you realize that nephrology is the hardest posting, yet I enjoy it the most. So I think that kind of like seal my intention or my decision that I want to pursue subspecialty in nephrology.
I see. So that's like, it's really important. The mentor plays a really important role, because
of course.
It just so happens that your interest, you just got lucky with the mentor.
True. And then when you think back, when I was in Manchester, I realized that the lecturer from the nephrology unit, they are so cool, they are so smart, they are so cool. So when you think back, that perhaps I already have interest in them since beginning. So the person that you exposed to, your mentor, your senior, your consultant, actually really shape who you are. So I do believe in that. So
So now you get to be the cool nephrologist.
I hope so. Okay, I hope so. I can inspire others to become a nephrologist.
Alright, so for our third question is, I think this one a lot of people want to know.
Okay.
How was your housemanship experience like, and where did you do it?
Oh my god. My housemanship, that was like how many years ago. I did my housemanship 2008, 2010. So I finished my medical degree in 2008, right? So I did my housemanship in Hospital Canselor Tuanku Muhriz.
Okay.
Okay, which is my hometown. I was very lucky. I got my hometown for my housemanship. So I did my medical degree in Manchester. So I decided, I finished my medical degree and I want to come back to Malaysia and work in Malaysia. So you know that when you are overseas, you had all the horrifying, all the horror story about housemanship in Malaysia. It was very bad. It was very difficult. So when I came back, I already, imagined the worst. I already anticipating, this going to be the worst 2 years ever in my life. So I already preparing myself. Okay. So when I start my housemanship training, actually, my batch is the first batch that did a 2-year housemanship training. It was 1 year.
Right.
Okay. So I already prepared myself for the worst 2 years in my life ever. Then when I came, when I did my housemanship training, then I realized that it was hard. To be honest, it was hard, it was difficult, it was long hours, exhausting. But because I already anticipating something worse than that, I felt that, okay, not too bad. It wasn't as bad as I imagined it was, So I kind of like breezed through my housemanship despite all the hurdles.
Thank you for that. So moving on to the next segment, which is about your professional insights. The first question is, could you describe a typical day as a clinical nephrologist and medical lecturer at UKM?
Typical day. Alright, I'm not a surgeon, so there's no OT for me. So usually in the morning, we'll focus on clinical teaching, clinical work. What I meant is, in the morning you come to clinic, you have your ward rounds, okay, and sometimes you have your research day, so you settle everything, you see patients, everything in the morning, right? So most of my teaching, especially bedside clinical teachings, happens in the afternoon, okay? You have to understand, I'm not just a consultant nephrologist, I'm also a lecturer, so I have a teaching. I also have administrative posts as well as a Ketua program, okay? So you have to balance.
Yeah, that's quite a lot.
But it's quite a lot, but everybody has 24 hours in a day.
True.
You see, so you have to prioritize and manage your time. It's kind of hard also, but I'm very lucky. I have a very good support, a very good team, very good colleague that help me to cover, if I need some help and whatnot. So it's very difficult, but everybody in teaching hospital doing it, so you should be able to adapt to it.
Would you have ever expected that you would be joining like the academic force as a lecturer, or was it ever in your goal?
Okay, that's another good point. When I did my master in UKM, right? So I exposed to teaching when I did my master's program, and I realized that I love teaching. Okay, so when they offer me to join UKM, I take it, 100% take it. And up to now, I think other than being a nephrologist, which I love, I also love teaching. So I think being in a university hospital actually suits me the best, and I'm very happy with that where I am now.
That's nice to know, because I think a lot of students will have a very tunnel vision. Okay, you want to be a specialist, but then become a training lecturer wasn't really a thing. But it's quite nice to think of that possibility.
I think you can broaden your option as well, because people are, especially for medical students, right? You always think that after I finish my medical degree, I'll be a doctor, sit in the hospital and do that. There's more option. You can be a clinician scientist, right? So you are still a medical doctor, but you involve heavily in research. Okay, you can be like I said, lecturer, so you involve in teaching, right? Or you can be something that is still medical related but not hospital based. You could be somebody who's doing a lot of advocacy and public awareness, something still medical related, but your place is not in the hospital. So there's so much more out there to explore nowadays, and don't confine yourself that to be in one place or one hospital. Okay.
Thank you for that. think we should all keep that in mind.
Yeah.
So question 2. Could you share any memorable patient stories or clinical experiences that highlights the impact of nephrology care on patients' lives?
Okay, I'll tell you a story. When I did my subspecialty training, I was one of the modules is renal transplant. Okay, so I think it was my first patient pair who's going for kidney transplantation. Right? So it's I have a patient, a young man who got end-stage renal disease, and then a brother, elder brother, who actually donated a kidney. But the story was the brother never tell that he's going to donate his kidney. So he actually went to see the nephrologist and did all the workup himself until it is confirmed that he's suitable as a donor. Only then he let the patients know that I'm going to donate my kidney to you, to the brother. So then I found that story was very touching. You talk about nephrology, thinking about you treat patient end up with dialysis, and then after that patient will die. But on the other side, there's a compassionate story behind a certain patient, right? Where people sacrifice themselves for other people.
And
give
part of themselves.
Yes, part of themselves, giving kidney. And most importantly is, and then the thing that with kidney transplant is when I went for my first transplant surgery, the moment the urine output came out, when you do anastomose the kidney, a patient that is end stage 4 years, they have no more urine output. So on table, you anastomose the kidney and urine output suddenly come out. And everybody will start clapping and jumping. Oh, there's a urine there. So I was never excited seeing a urine come out from a person until you had transplant surgery. I mean, I'm not a surgeon, but as a nephrologist, you have to be there too, and then because there are certain things that you need to do during that thing. So yeah, you will be very excited seeing urine. So yeah.
Okay, so usually people, like, if they want to become pediatrician, people say that you have to be good with kids. Like me personally, I probably cannot handle kids.
Okay.
So is there like that kind of concept in nephrology? Like, is there a specific characteristics that you look for selecting candidates to specialize in this field?
Okay. Nephrology is part of internal medicine. So when you come to the nephro, it's very much basic physiology, your pathophysiology, right? It's kind of like thing that you learn in medical school, but it's more detailed. So if you want to pursue nephro, it is a hard posting, right? But you need to have a good basic medical knowledge. Okay, your core must be strong. Yeah. Then at the same time, you must be willing to learn. Willing to learn and have a good clinical acumen and of course clinical skill, because we thought that internal medicine has no procedure. Medicine has a lot of procedure. Nephrology has a lot of procedure. So you must have some sort of skills as well. Procedural skill must be good as well. So when anybody that come to nephrology, I always tell them you come in with an open mind, a willingness to learn something new. Okay, gives your commitment, because it's going to be a very difficult posting, right? Give your commitment, and I'm sure that you will learn something. You get the reward, by doing nephrology.
Okay. So for my next question would be, okay. So I read your article in the Free Relation today. It's about your research regarding job loss among CKD patients. And I feel like this is a really interesting issue that hasn't really been brought to light, despite the worrying number of people in Malaysia that has obesity, diabetes, and CKD just comes with that sometimes.
Yes.
So what are the biggest challenges that these patients face, and what do you feel the systemic changes that are needed to fix this?
The CKD patients in Malaysia, the numbers are increasing. Now we have like 52,000 patients on dialysis, and the most common cause of CKD in Malaysia is diabetes, right? So the diabetes numbers increases, so CKD increases. The thing with employment and CKD patient, when you get into stage 4, stage 5 CKD, advanced CKD, these are the patients that have more frequent follow-up in clinic in the hospital, and they also have symptoms. They have anemic symptom, uremic symptom. Now they sometimes feel overloaded, right? Hence, they take off from work frequently, and the problem with our system in Malaysia is sometimes the employer, they are not well versed about chronic kidney disease. Okay, so this kind of patient, they cannot accommodate to their employee with chronic kidney disease.
I mean, because they also don't have an understanding.
Yeah, they don't have the understanding.
How critical it is.
So they end up, so the patients end up losing their job because the employer do not understand or do not support them. Okay, so the thing is, this complication of CKD and end-stage renal disease actually can be tackled early on. So it's very important, when you have a patient's CKD, there must be better follow-up. Then we can do something to make sure that they do not have all the side effect, or complication from CKD, so that they can keep their work longer. So education and awareness to the general public, especially the employer, give them a chance, because once we start their own dialysis, they get better, right? And if this patient on proper follow-up, proper treatment, they get better, they can work. Okay, so there's no reason for this kind of patient, put at the side and say you cannot, you have to stop working. I think it's a bit unfair to them. It's a bit unfair.
My next question would be, what are some of the major challenges you have faced in your career, and how do you overcome them?
Challenges. You will face challenges throughout your career, and your challenges, differs depending on what stage of your career. Right? So when you are a houseman, a medical officer, your challenge is to get through training. Okay, that gruesome training, that the first 6 years of your medical career, right, that you have been through. Okay, that's very hard and very long hours, tiring. Then when you become a specialist, your challenges differ, because now you have heavy responsibility. Now you have to teach, you have to guide, you have to make decisions. At one point, when you become advanced stage consultant, you become the leader of your unit, right? Now you're making decision for a bigger role and whatnot. Okay, so along the way, you will face challenges. You will not stop facing challenges. So I think the most important thing is you must have a mindset that this is my responsibility. I have to do it. Okay, that's one. Number two, you must have a good rapport and good relationship with your colleague, your friends, and your mentor. Okay, because you cannot succeed alone. You have to have help and mentor that will help and guide you. I think that in a way, despite all the challenges, I'm very lucky, because in every step of my career, there's always a senior person, a mentor that helped me. Okay, so let's say in my unit, I have Prof. Halim, Prof. Lucita, all these Prof. Rustinda, these all are the seniors that actually helping and guiding me along the way. So to overcome it, number one is you have to make sure that you understand your problem, the challenge, and you determine to move forward, and don't become like, oh, I can't do this, I'm tired already. You cannot give up at the early on, and then you ask for help if you need help. Okay, and along the way, your respected mentor and senior will help you and guide you, and then at the end of the day, you become a successful person as it is because of people around you.
And you yourself have to want that goal.
And then when you become to that stage, now I'm a consultant, then I was so blessed that along the way there's always somebody guiding me throughout my career. Now it's my responsibility to guide the junior behind me, right? So that no one is actually leaving behind. That if you want to build up a unit or a successful career, you have to help others. And then when you are there at the peak of your career, you have to make sure you help the people behind you. So that's how.
I'm sure a lot of people will be feeling that. You know how you felt towards your mentor. I'm sure that's how people are.
I hope so. I hope so.
Okay, so I think the next question I would like to know if, okay, so for CKD patients, right, they often require long-term care.
Yep.
And you feel demotivated, as you mentioned just now.
Okay.
So how do you, as their doctor, keep them hopeful and engaged in their treatment, even when at that stage they're already having like really bad kidney problems?
Okay. As a doctor, you have to be fair to your patient, and you cannot give a false hope to a patient. But I always tell my patient that look at what that we can do for you. Okay, what can be done rather than something that already happened in the past that you cannot reverse it. There's no point, thinking about I should have controlled my diabetes 10 years ago. It's already in the past. Okay. So look at what we can do now today, okay, that we can help the patient, help CKD patient to to delay the progression of CKD. So a lot of time I always motivate my patient, right? Even though you are already in stage 4, simple thing that you do, for example, controlling your diet, reducing your salt, avoid taking traditional medication, that is actually helping your kidney. Even though your kidney is already stage 4, that's fine. Okay? So if stage 4, let it be in stage 4 as long as possible. Don't jump to stage 5. So you still have that opportunity to actually to retard, to slow down the progression of the kidney. So don't be too, don't be negative. At the same time, don't give false hope to the patient.
Yeah. So it's like a really fine process of navigating between being supportive, balancing that, and just focusing on like strategic options that you can do to help the patients. Yeah.
And you have to be very honest with the patient, right? So, and then you have to, sometimes you just have to explain to the patient why you have to take this medication, why it is important, right? Why it is important to control your diabetes now, right? Because you do not want them to, end up with dialysis 20 years later.
Yeah.
So you have to tell them, so this is what are the things that you can do, to make sure that you do not end up with dialysis. So I think patients' education is very important. Motivate them. And if they did well, for example, I ask the patient, okay, can you reduce your weight? Now you're obese. And then they come and see you 3 months later, oh, you lost 5 kilos. So congratulate them, motivate them. Then,
and acknowledge
their effort. Then, that will strengthen the relationship. When you have that trust, I think managing any patient, it's not just nephrology, any such specialty will become easier and much better. And then you'll be very happy, you'll be satisfied, your patient's getting better. Patients are very happy with you as their doctor.
Okay, so we're on to our last part, which is a couple more questions. Okay, first, this is just a random one lah. Dr. Lydia, what hobbies do you usually do if you have any free time at your hand?
Okay, so
do you harvest kidneys for fun?
I wish I can. I can screen everyone, or you can be a donor, you can be a donor. No, I'm not doing that. So, I have 4 things that I enjoy in life. Okay, so I love good food.
Okay.
So I'm a foodie.
That means the both of us.
Yeah. I love cats. So I have 4 cats at home.
I have 3.
Right. I love traveling. And I love BTS. So yeah. So in that case, if you ask me what I do in my my free time, it will be revolve around this 4 things. So it's either I'm planning for my next trip, or I'm serving which new hip cafe that I want to try. Okay. And then catching up with all the BTS content or playing with my cats, right? So these are the 4 joys of my life. So if you ask me what I do for my free time, I know this.
Between those 4, nothing kidney related.
Nothing kidney related. I think I have enough kidney during the working hours.
Yeah. Okay. So just a last question. So what advice will you give to young doctors or medical students aspiring to specialize in nephrology?
Okay, so if you want, or if you are having interest to become a nephrologist, I would say go for it. Okay, go for it. I think it will be a rewarding subspecialty to pursue, right? Even though you see nephrology, just kidney, but you can subspecialize to transplantation, to acute kidney injury, to chronic kidney disease, to glomerulonephritis. So even under nephrology also, there's so many subspecialty that you can focus on. And if you're really interested to become a nephrologist from now on, just you have a good basic medical knowledge. Brush up your physiology, your clinical acumen, right? And I think that if you have that, good background, medical background, and you have the ambition, okay, the dedication to pursue nephrology, I think you'll be a good nephrologist, okay? And with medicine, nephrology, or in any subspecialty, medicine is a lifelong journey. Okay, so you never stop learning. So even though you come into nephrology with nothing, with zero knowledge, that's fine. Come with open mind and curiosity, and learn. And you know that when you see so many patients with kidney problem, you get better. And then with experience, you'll be a good consultant in the future. So don't worry. So if you have interest, okay, keep that interest deep in your heart, your mind, and go for it. And
I have to brush up my nephrology now.
And come and see me. And I'll help you.
Alright, so I think that wraps up our interview for today. So with that, we extend our deepest gratitude to Dr. Lydia for sharing your time and wisdom with us today. So thank you for your invaluable contributions to medicine, and we wish you continued success in your work.
Thank you very much.
Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.